We're going to record this. And in case you guys didn't catch that, I'm putting the recordings of these up on YouTube. It's my offering to the collective. I think that it's different, being live versus watching the recording, but I also think we need resources at this time. So if you ever want to tune in and rewatch one of these or come back to a flow, those are on YouTube, and this one will be as well. So let's go ahead and get started. Lucinda, will you just mute yourself if you're not muted already? I know you unmuted. And we're going to start in a comfortable seat. I mentioned to some of the folks who are on here early, we're going to do lots of twisting today. And twisting is really meant to, like if you were wringing out a sponge, we're going to be wringing out the body here. But we're going to start with a little meditation just to bring ourselves into this present moment. So come to sit up. I'm sitting on a block and a blanket. If you want to sit up on 2 blocks, 2 blankets, a pillow, whatever, and then pull the flesh away from your sitting bones so that you can really be up on top of yourself, that you're not rounding back into your upper back. You're not kind of like hinging too much far forward. You are really just in your center. And then rest your palms on your thighs. Go ahead and close your eyes. And together, let's take a deep breath in. Open up your mouth, let it go. Full inhale. Full exhale. And just using these first few breaths to allow your energy to drop in. So perhaps you were doing something else earlier today. Likely you were doing something else earlier today. Maybe you were doing something right before this class. Maybe you were doing something where your energy was pulled into conversation or connection or worry about someone else. And for this next hour, I just want to give you permission to bring that back into you. So feeling yourself sitting here on the block or on your pillow or on whatever is underneath you, feeling your sit bones rooting down. Imagine that they're rooting all the way down into the earth, giving you a really strong foundation, a really sturdy, a really stable place to grow from. And then as you slightly lift your heart and your chest, let yourself sit back a little. Not back by rounding the spine, but let the heart sit back. Let the shoulders sit back. Maybe let the brain soften back. And taking a full breath in here and a full breath out. Scanning your physical body, noticing how you're showing up to your practice this afternoon. Are there aches and pains? Is there stress or any other energy that you're carrying around? Or perhaps right here, right in this moment, you're feeling light, free, alive. Not passing judgment, whatever comes up for you, simply observing, breathing in and breathing out. Similarly, scanning your energy, your awareness. Maybe you notice that it has been pulled outside of you. And allow that to come back in. Using whatever vision or visualization or metaphor. I just like to imagine that my energy were a cloud of particles and that I'm pulling them back into myself. Breathing in and breathing out. One more inhale. And one more exhale. And I don't always do it in class, but let's set an intention today. So inhale, reach your arms up, keep your eyes closed, bring your hands to your heart center, letting your thumbs rest on your sternum in the prayer shape. If prayer does not resonate for you, you can put one hand over your heart and your second hand on top of that. Taking a breath into your heart space. Just settling on an intention. What brought you to this class this afternoon? Maybe there's one feeling, something that you'd like to get out of this hour, and get clear on what that is for you today. Perhaps it's breath, space, ease, grounding, energy. Not thinking too hard about it, just letting whatever comes into your mind's eye be your intention. And let's take a collective breath into that intention. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, reach the arms up, open the eyes, come back into your space. And let's come on to all fours. On to all fours. So finding your hands right underneath your shoulders, your knees right underneath your hips. If you've come to class before, which many of you have, you know that you can use a block or a book or something with the right angle to measure up. If you have the video facing sideways or a mirror, you can also check that out. But you really just want to get your hands underneath your shoulders so that you are in your shoulder and your wrist joint and your knees underneath your hips. And let's just start by taking a few regular cat-cows. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your heart, lift your gaze. Exhale, coil and round, press the floor away. And then moving between these two shapes, inhaling and exhaling, you can really speed it up. If you feel like you have some fire you'd like to let out of the body or some energy, something stagnant, you can make this more active, more fluent, or you can go really slow. You take what you need today. This is your opportunity to customize your practice. And don't just do what feels easy, do what you need. That might take an extra moment to get clear on that. So give yourself your moment and then just go. Pressing into the feet and pressing into the hands, not just the heels of the hands or the pads of the hands, but all four corners of the hands. Take another round in and out, and then we'll meet back in a neutral spine. You'll bring your left leg in towards the center of the mat. So left knee in towards the center. The right leg is going to sweep around. So this is like an eagle leg or a cow face leg. The left knee comes into the back of the right knee. And then the feet go wide. So your feet and your knees are making a triangle here. And if this is a whole lot for you today, you can stay right here. We're going to start to circle the hips, or you can flip the palms, which I do recommend, flipping the palms, turning the hands all the way back towards the knees. Put a little micro bend in your elbows so you're not locking those elbows out, and then start to take circles with your hips. So imagine that you are a belly dancer or a hula hooper, and you're really trying to isolate this movement first in the lower body. We're gonna bring it up to the upper body in just a moment, but see if you can move from that lower half. Like you're moving around your waist, you're really moving your hips. You can imagine that there's a clock behind you and you're trying to hit all 12 hours of the clock. Again, you can start by going super slow, but then maybe you start to speed it up. And as you start to speed it up, perhaps your shoulders get a little bit involved. Your head and your neck can get involved too. That's all just optional. But you're moving around that lower body, plugging those feet into the mat so that you do have this stable base. And again, the wider you take the feet, the easier this is going to be. Take another few breaths here. Maybe you really start to whip it up. And then come back through center. To keep everything right where it is, just go the opposite direction with your hips. So it's probably going to feel a little awkward, a little sticky. Maybe there's one place in the circle where you don't like to go. Press those feet into the mat, squeeze your thighs together, and then start to speed it up a little bit faster, moving in your waist. I like to imagine here, so the kidneys are the two organs that sit right at the lower back. And I like to imagine that they're like going for a ride in the spin cycle of the washing machine. So they're taking a little ride, they're getting washed out, maybe going a little bit faster if you want to add your head, your neck, your shoulders, let it be a little wild, whip your hair if you want. And then come back through center, gently, without drama, flip your palms around, plug them back in. Walk your hands forward a few inches and then swing the left leg on top. And if you need to adjust it so that that right knee snuggles in behind the left, and then the feet go wide. For me, this side is a little bit more challenging. It's not as easy to get that fit. So fight for it. And again, you can stay right here, but the other option with the hands is to come up onto the fingertips. Give yourself some levity. And then start to go, let's all go counterclockwise to begin. So you're moving your hips in a counterclockwise direction, really starting to explore the hip joint. Maybe going a little bit faster. Again, you can get the head, the neck, the shoulders involved. And the easiest way to get the head, the neck, the shoulders involved is not to think about it. When you think about it, it gets a little sticky. Just go with it. Nice. And then pause in the middle. If you can stay up on those fingertips, stay up on those fingertips. Otherwise, come down. And then take your hips in the opposite direction. So now we're going clockwise, going around the clock. And maybe you notice one side with one leg forward is easier for you or more challenging. Perhaps you notice going in one direction is a little bit more easier or more challenging. Just keep going, keep exploring for another few breaths. Nice. Bring your hands down, unweave your legs, come back to your regular tabletop, and let's tuck the toes and send it back to a downward facing dog. So coming into your downward facing dog, it's like a V shape with your body. It's a 60-degree triangle. So in order to get there, we want to put a little bend in the knees, lift the heels up, lift the buttock bones up, and stretch out of the waist. Imagine you can push the floor away. Imagine that you're trying to create a little space underneath the palm of the hand, just in the center of the palm. So you're pressing down, but you're also lifting up. As you inhale, come forward to your plank. Make sure you have that measurement. So the measurement of your plank, shoulders over wrists and heels reaching back, is the measurement of your dog. Keep your hands right where they are. Send your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Once again, bending the knees, lifting the buttock bones up, stretching out of the waist. Inhale forward to your plank. Maybe you want to come all the way through to your modified up dog. You'll see my toes are still tucked. My heels are actively pressing back and my legs are engaged. And then hinge it back to a downward facing dog. And you move between your plank and your dog, or your modified up dog and your downward facing dog a few times. Going at your own pace, pumping it out, creating a little heat, and starting to create a little fire, especially in that hip joint. Good. And when you want to stop, just keep going. Go for another 3 more. Breathing in, breathing out. And then we'll meet back in a downward facing dog. Walk your feet in just about a foot. So one of your feet, foot length. And then your heels can come down towards the mat. Keep that right foot where it is. Lift the left leg up. Lift the left leg up. For a moment, keep the hips square. Keep the shoulders square, and then start to bend that left knee open up through the hip. The right foot is plugging down. The right hip is lifting up. And you're trying to keep that upper body square as much as you can. Obviously, your left hip is lifting, but instead of me peeling myself all the way open towards the side and falling over, I want to keep my vision forward, my shoulders forward. You can take a few circles here, opening up through that hip, and then drop that foot down into your short little downward facing dog. Take the second side. Left foot plugs in, right leg lifts up. Lift up through that left hip. Bend in your right knee, open up the hip. And same thing, you can take little circles, little movements. Good. Opening up through that hip joint. Bring the right foot down. Once again, we're back in downward facing dog, the short little downward facing dog. We're gonna do that again with an option to come forward into a one-legged plank. So if that all seems like a lot, you can stay in the hip stretch. But if you want to work on coming forward into the one-legged plank, you'll keep your right leg down, lift your left leg up. You can bend it open, just taking the nice little stretch for a moment, and then square off the hips. Really drop that left hip. Come forward. Come forward not by muscling yourself forward with your arms, but by lifting up on top to the pinky, or sorry, onto the ball of that right foot. Look forward, yeah. Shoulders come over your wrists, and you breathe here for a moment. Maybe you point that back foot, maybe you flex it, keep dropping your left hip, and then step that foot down, send it back, downward facing dog. Second side, right leg lifts up. If you want to, you can bend the knee, open up the hip, and then you square off the hips, but keep the leg lifted. Come forward by coming up onto the ball of that left foot, look forward. Drop that right hip, broaden through your collarbones. Good. And then send it back, downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward and through to your plank or your modified upward facing dog, and back to your downward facing dog. Take a moment in your dog, maybe walk from hand to hand, foot to foot. Nice. Whew, I'm out of breath from that. So the next step, your right foot forward to your right thumb. So we're coming into a lunge here. You'll drop your back knee down, untuck the toes, plug the top of that back foot into the mat. Make sure that your right ankle is underneath your right knee. If you have that block, you can use it as a measure. If you don't, you can look at it, you can feel it out. You can also, and actually we're all gonna do this, is bring your hands out to a V. Find that right knee into your right armpit. So I'm actually gonna face forward for a moment so you guys can see this. Right knee into right armpit. So there's a real fit here. And then you're gonna lift your right arm up and you're just gonna take some circles here. You're massaging the lymph nodes that are in that right armpit. So you can go in one direction, the other direction. This is you moving your own lymph, taking out the trash in your body. Good, and maybe you notice if it feels a little tender. It's all just good information. Great, bring that hand back down and then find the chest to the thigh. So your chest should be on your thighs here. Think sternum and navel pull forward, so you're looking forward. And then keep that connection chest to thigh as you start to send your hips back, flex that right foot back towards your nose, coming into a half split. And then we'll move between those two shapes, coming forward into your lunge, looking forward, letting your pubis drop, and then back, your hips send back. You start to straighten through that right leg, but not by jamming the knee straight, but by pulling the hips back. Moving between those two shapes, coming forward and back. Again, you can go pretty fast or you can take it a little bit slower. Just giving a nice stretch for the back of the legs and also the back of your spine. Nice. Next time you're forward, come forward, plant that right foot down. Left hand plants under left shoulder. Right arm is going to reach up. Turn the right palm towards the front of your mat and then look forward for a moment. So instead of looking up towards your hand, look forward. Imagine that someone were pulling. You can actually bring your hand down to the back of your skull, that place where the skull meets the top of the spine, and give yourself a nice little adjustment by pulling it out. Now you want to imagine that somebody is continuing to pull your neck out as you look up towards that right palm. So you're twisting, but you're not twisting by turning in, you're twisting by going out, lengthening through the spine. Take one more breath in, breath out, release, step it back, downward facing dog. Finding your dog. Anytime we come back to dog, if you feel like it, you can come forward to your plank, through to your modified up dog. That's like our little vinyasa in this class. We're not going to do chaturangas. Or you can just pause in your downward facing dog. On your next breath, you'll step your left foot forward to your left thumb, back knee comes down. So same thing on the second side. Find your armpit to your knee to your armpit, and see that that left ankle is right underneath the left knee. Look forward, think pubis, navel, sternum forward. You can also imagine that that right hip is coming slightly around so that the hips are at 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock on either side. And then start to straighten the leg, coming into your half split shape, keeping the chest on the thighs. So you see right here, my leg is not straightening completely. I could straighten my leg, but then I just round into my lower back. When I keep that connection of chest to thighs, I'm really lengthening out the leg here and keeping the integrity of my spine. Moving between those two shapes, forward and back. You can link your breath with your movement. Just getting a little juice going in the legs. Beautiful. Next time you're forward, land forward. And then right hand comes down underneath right shoulder. Be very precise with it. So it shouldn't be off your mat. It shouldn't be in front of your foot. It should almost be like where your right foot would be if you were standing. And then left arm reaches up. Bring it down once again to that base of your skull, your neck. Look forward. Just give yourself a gentle little pull, as if someone were pulling you forward. If you've had a really nice Shavasana adjustment or a really nice chiropractic adjustment, just imagine that that's happening here. And then left arm reaches up, start to spin around yourself. Nice, so you're spiraling on your spit. Not going out towards the side or curving into yourself, but like you're a turkey on a spit. Beautiful. Bring that left hand down, step it back, downward facing dog. Another variation you can take here is to stay up on those fingertips. Inhale, come forward to your plank or your modified upward facing dog. This really works your arms. And then downward facing dog, hips go up and back. Take a breath in and a breath out. Nice. Okay. Staying in for your dog for a moment, we're going to take another twist here, or I guess one of our first twists here. Coming into that short downward facing dog again, so you can walk your hands back a little bit or your feet forward a little bit. And then your right hand is going to grab for your left outer heel. So not the inner heel, not the leg. Ideally, you get the hand around the heel. Keeping a bend in your knees, start to look underneath your own left armpit. Once again, imagine that there was somebody giving you a nice traction on your spine, lengthening out through the skull, through the neck, and then you rotate around that spit. Breathing in, lifting that right hip up so the hips stay level here, and breathing out. Take the twist to the other side. Right hand comes down, left arm reaches around, left hand grabs right outer heel. Keep the hips level, and then start to look underneath your own right armpit. Lift your hips up and back. You can use the hand on the heel as leverage. Imagine that somebody were lengthening out through your spine, and you twist from there. Good, come back through center, walk it out to a plank, and then send it back downward facing dog. Give yourself a moment in your dog, walk from hand to hand, foot to foot. Nice. Beautiful. And then step your right foot forward to your right thumb. Keep your back knee lifted for this one. So we're going to come up into a pyramid type shape. First, set up your foundation. So right knee is over right ankle, as we were doing before. Left heel fires back, so that leg is strong and active. But notice if your hips are already opening towards the side, almost like a warrior two, drop that left hip down. Find your chest to your thighs. So think pubis, navel, sternum, look forward. And then start to straighten that right leg. It doesn't have to straighten all the way, but straighten from the belly of the back thigh. So this back thigh is lengthening out. You keep the chest to your thigh. And then if you'd like to, you can fold forward. You can drop the head, drop the neck, kind of round in the spine, but let the lower back stay long and strong. Imagine that right hip is pulling up and back. That left hip is drawing forward. If there were a clock behind you, your hips would be at 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock. Good. And then bend in the front, you come back into your low lunge, and we're just gonna move between those two shapes. Inhale, pull or exhale, drop the head, lengthen. And then inhale, come forward into your lunge. Exhale, lengthen and fold. One more inhale, come forward into your lunge. And exhale, lengthen and fold. Good. Come back into your lunge like we did in our low lunge. Left hand comes down, right arm reaches up, twist. The back knee stays lifted. You can drop it down if you need it, but try it on this variation. The hand plants underneath the shoulder, the right arm reaches up, lengthen out through your spine, and then twist along your spit. If it helped you before, you can bring that hand to your neck. Yeah, and then maybe even look for it on the screen and see where your head is going, because a few people I see are coming out towards the side. I'll kind of show you guys. And if you have a ponytail, it's really easy to see because your ponytail gives you away. But we are not looking for this in this shape. We're not looking for a big heart opener here. We're really looking for a rotation around a spit, which means if you look forward, your head and spine should be pointing straight forward. So we're not looking for this, we're looking for this. You guys kind of see the difference there? Maybe if you were looking. So try it on yourself. It often means we have to come further in and not lean back into it. Good. Drop the right hand down, step it back, downward facing dog. If you want to come forward and through to your upward facing dog, you can, or your plank. And then we'll meet back in downward facing dog for the second side. We're not going to do too many more lunges, don't worry. Step your left foot forward to your left thumb. Left ankle underneath left knee. Back leg fires back, so that back leg is strong and active. Right hand underneath right shoulder. So notice where you put the hand. It's underneath the shoulder, not way off towards the side. You can bring the left hand to the lower back. And then as you start to lengthen, open yourself up into the twist. Left arm reaches up. Good. Pulling that left hip back, that right hip forward, and you're spiraling into yourself. Imagine somebody were giving you a lift through your head, your neck, lengthening you out. Beautiful. And then drop that hand down, and we'll come into that pyramid shape once again. So straightening through that front left leg by lengthening out the belly of the back thigh. This is the belly of the back thigh. So the back of that thigh. And then bend forward, coming back into your lunge, and exhale to straighten and fold. You can drop your head, drop your neck, but keep your chest connected to your thigh. Bend forward, come into your lunge. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, straighten and fold. One more. Inhale to bend. And exhale to fold. Maybe pausing here for a moment, just making sure you're not locking that knee. There's a little micro bend in that knee. If you want to, you can walk your hands out, really squaring off through those hips. Seeing if you can get your belly button onto your thigh. Beautiful. Drop your hands down, step it back, downward facing dog. Inhale forward and through to your plank or your modified up dog. And send it back, downward facing dog. Drop down onto hands and knees. Take a moment if you need a sip of water. Good time to grab a sip of water. If you just need to close your eyes and come back to your intention, that's great too. And so we really worked in the lower body, working on opening up the backs of the thighs, working on lengthening the spine, because that's ultimately going to help us in some of these deeper twists. So we're going to come into one more lunge and do a twist from our pyramid pose. And then we're going to start to move the twist up the spine, doing some trunk rotation, which can be a nice flush for your organs. Can also be a little bit of an ab workout. So when you're ready, come back to your downward facing dog. Hand, hand, foot, foot. If you want to measure it out, you can measure it out, coming forward into your plank. And then one last time, step your right foot forward to your right thumb. Find your chest to your thigh. The armpit is right outside the knee. And then once again, start to straighten that front leg. Again, not by jamming the knee straight, but by starting to lengthen out through the belly of the thigh. You can think your pubis, your navel, your sternum comes forward. That left hip is off towards its own side. And this might be enough for you. You can stay right here. We're going to take it into a twist. I encourage you to try this without the block. If you really need a block or a book or something, you can bring it under your hand, but ultimately we want to do it without the block. So the left hand is going to come and cross over the right leg. So I'm going to turn around this way so you guys can see me a little bit better. So the leg is straight. The opposite hand, left hand, comes outside of that right leg. You want to create an X with the hand and the leg. If this is totally impossible for you, you can also take this as a twist with the hand underneath the shoulder, sort of as a combination pose between the pyramid and the lunging twist. But if you're working with me towards this deeper twist, the left hand comes outside of the right leg. Ideally, the hand comes down to the mat. What that's going to require you to do is really lengthen out through your spine. Pull that right hip back, that left hip forward. Maybe bend that right knee a little bit. And then you can start to twist from here. The more that you get this hand down, the more that you get this connection of arm to leg, the easier it's going to be to twist it open. You do not have to reach that top arm up. You can keep it as you're on your lower back. As a reminder to come up and out of your lower back and twist. Maybe the vision lifts. Again, imagining that you're lengthening out through the back of the head. And then once you've had enough, you'll come down, you'll step it back, downward facing dog. Whew. If you want to wave it out, you can wave it out. And we will set up for the second side. So for this second one, I'm going to walk through the modification version first, and then I'll take us through the full variation. So you'll step your left foot forward to your left thumb, getting a nice long lunge. Chest to thigh, armpit to knee. You can walk your hands out. And then you'll start to straighten that left leg by lengthening out through the back of the left leg. Keep the belly to the thigh. So you have this length in your spine. You might stay right here. You can bring the right hand down and start to twist. Left hand comes to your lower back. So for this variation, my hand is right underneath my shoulder. If it's totally impossible for you to get it down to the mat, you can bring a block underneath it, but we're working towards no block. And then if you want to go further, the right hand crosses over the left leg. The hand comes down to the mat, and the more you can really get the hand down, the easier this is going to be. So you're creating a little X with the left leg and the right arm. Pull that lower spine back. I guess pull your butt back so your lower spine lengthens. That left hand can come to your lower back, and then you start to twist. The head turning is like the cherry on top of the sundae. You want to rotate from your spine first, and then maybe rotate your head, lift that arm up, or you can keep the hand on the lower back as a reminder. Good. Once again, you're rotating around your spit. So the more that you can stay in alignment with the spine, the easier this will be. Taking another breath in and another breath out. Release your hands down, step it back, downward facing dog. That one is super tough and super tough to do while trying to teach it. So hopefully you guys got somewhere with it. If not, it's something to work on, And like I said, these are not easy. One more time, come forward and through to your plank or your modified upward facing dog, and back to your downward facing dog. Taking a breath in and a breath out, and then you'll walk your feet to your hands to your feet, and you'll come to a fold or a hang at the center of your mat. I'm turning to face you all. You might want to turn to face the long edge of your mat, just depending on what kind of space you have in your yoga space. So set yourself up. And the first thing that we're gonna do here is just walk the feet out. Actually, bring your feet back together, grab on for opposite ankles, and walk your feet out as wide as they can go with a grip. So for me, it's a little bit wider than hips width distance. Definitely not as long as the mat, definitely not as long as like if I were to come up into a big warrior shape, but a little wider than the hips. And then bend your knees, stick your butt out. So from the side, almost look like a little football player. Walk your hands forward, come up onto your fingertips, and find that length in your spine. Find that length in your spine. We're gonna take another twist here. So your right hand is gonna stay underneath your nose, left hand to your lower back. Hopefully this one will be a little bit easier. You can come up onto the fingertips. If you're really having trouble, bring the hand down or onto a block, but it's nice to be on those fingertips so that you're light in this upper body. Left hand to your lower back, lengthen out through your spine. Left arm can reach up, vision lifts up. Lengthen through the back of your neck. Make sure, or go to your hips with your imagination and just notice. We want to keep those hips level. So usually it's the right hip that likes to drop, pull it up. And then reach the left arm forward, follow it with your vision, like you're taking a big stroke through the universe. And then drop the hands down underneath the nose. We'll go to the second side. So left hand underneath your nose, right hand can come to your lower back. First, look forward, lengthen out through your spine. Toes can be slightly in, heels slightly out. That helps take this out of the lower back. Right arm reaches up. Pull up through that left hip. Start to twist around your spit. Really growing long. Imagine that you can lengthen out through your collarbones across your wingspan. Your head and your neck are the last to turn. And then that right arm will swim forward. Follow your hand with your vision, and the right hand will come down underneath your nose. And then you'll take the twist to the first side, and we're gonna swim it a little bit. So just taking those two movements, keeping your lower body right where it is, taking a stroke with each arm. And if you notice, you see me from the side here, my hips should not be moving. My legs should not be moving. This is really an upper body game. If you want to, you can come really light on those fingertips, and you're following the hand with the vision. Good, come back through center, make sure you even it out, do both sides. And walk your feet in towards one another. So you have one big foot underneath you. Just take a moment, you can bend your knees, you can come down into a little squat, give yourself a rest, maybe rolling the head and the neck out. And we're gonna take a second version of that shape. So if this second version feels impossible to you, if trunk rotations, if doing twists from your upper body is not something that you do on a regular basis, you can take that version that we just did with the arms open, the fingertips on the mat. But for everybody else, the second version that we're gonna take, you're gonna grab onto opposite ankles. Let's all put the left arm on top. And once again, walk your feet out as wide as they can go where you still have a grip. You still have a grip. Toes slightly in, heels slightly out. Stick your butt out and lengthen through your spine. So your right arm is on the bottom. You're gonna reach that arm up. It's the same motion that we were playing with, just a little different because you have that left hand grabbing for your right ankle versus underneath your nose. So lengthening out, taking your twist, and then swim that arm forward, forward, forward until it grabs your left ankle. Reach the left arm up, take your twist. Notice if you drop into one hip, try and keep that lower body stable. And then the left arm swims forward, forward, forward until it grabs the right ankle. And then you take your strokes, trying to make this fluid. Again, like you can think that you are a swimmer. You're swimming in a pool. You're swimming in, I don't know, the universe. I like that image. and letting yourself rotate around yourself. Take one more on each side, evening yourself out. And then come to a fold. You can walk your feet together. Maybe coming down into a little squat or just staying in your forward fold. Taking a breath in and a breath out. Drop your knees down and come to sit. How we doing? I see some like good faces. Great, I'll take that as decent. Okay, so we're going to sit and do what we like to call a shoulder vinyasa. So we twisted in our lower body, we moved it up to the upper body. This is really going to be for the shoulders. And so this one is, it can be a little bit, I don't know, just challenging. So I encourage you to just listen and practice being present and go through the movements. So question for you guys, I don't know if I'm mirrored. So is this my right hand on your side or left? Give me an L if it's the left. It's the left. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit sideways because I think I'm going to sit kind of at this diagonal. We'll walk through it a few times slow and then we'll do it a little bit faster. And like I said, I encourage you to listen more than necessarily look at exactly what I'm doing because I might not be, I'm not going to mirror you. It's way too confusing. You'll see. So find yourself in a comfortable seat. Ideally, you're sitting in Virasana like I am sitting with your feet tucked underneath you. And you can pull the flesh away from your sitting bones so that you're really sitting up tall. And what we're going to be doing here is just a movement of your arms. So your lower body will stay right where it is. Put yourself up as high as you need to. If you need to put another pillow or another blanket or I don't know, stick something underneath you, do that. You want to be comfortable because we'll be here for a moment. All right, just take a breath in and a breath out. And like I said, we're going to walk through this little movement slow first, and then we're going to do it a few times. So your first movement is your right hand is going to go to your left knee. Right hand to left knee. Then your left hand will go to your right knee. And if you can't reach your knees, you can reach the tops of your thighs, but see if you can get the knees, but keep that length in the spine. You're going to slide your right hand out, so that's the one that's underneath, and bring it around either, if you can grab for your left heel, or I can't grab my heel because there's a blanket here, just bring it to your lower back. All right, now I'm going to turn around so you can see my back. The next movement, you're going to slide this right hand up the back. Ideally, it's coming to the middle of the back. Don't worry if it doesn't get there all the way. We're going to help it out. Your left hand, like you're serving a platter, bring it out in front of you. So you're sweeping it out in front of you from the right to left. Flip the palm down and then grab for that right elbow with the left hand. Give it a little boost. So that left hand gives it a boost up the back. Then the left hand is going to reach up. So it reaches straight up, bend the elbow, and maybe you can grab for your fingers. If not, grab for your shirt, your sports bra, and give yourself a little bit of a back bend, lean back. Nice. Take a breath in and a breath out. All right. I'm going to move back forward for a moment. We're going to do it on the second side. Left hand to right knee. Right hand to left knee. Left hand, so that hand on the lower back is going to come around and reach for the right hip crease or the right heel, or your right butt, whatever you can grab. Slide your left hand up your back. Turn around. Slide your left hand up your back. The right hand is going to serve a platter in front of you. You can follow it with your vision. Flip the palm down, grab for that left elbow, and give it a little boost. The right arm will then reach up, bend in the elbow, and see if you can grab either for your hands, great, or you can grab for your shirt. But you're going for your hands, and then you pause. You take a breath in, you take a breath out. All right, we're going to go a little bit faster. I'm gonna turn so I'm back diagonal again, just so hopefully you can hear me. All right, so our right elbow is up. Right hand, left knee. Left hand, right knee. Right hand, left heel or left hip crease. Slide it up your back. So you've got your own back. Left hand sweeps out in front of you. Flip the palm down, bend in the elbow, and give that right hand a boost. The left arm then sweeps up and over, bend in the elbow, and grab for the bind or grab for your shirt. Left hand, right knee. Right hand, left knee. Left hand, right heel, right lower back. Slide it up your back. That right hand sweeps out in front of you. Flip the palm down, bend in the elbow, and give yourself a little boost. The right arm then reaches up, bend at the elbow, and go for a bind. Let's do one more each side. Right hand, left knee. Left hand, right knee. Right hand, left heel. Slide it up your back. Left hand serves a platter in front of you. Bend in the elbow, give it a little boost. Left arm then reaches up, bend at the elbow, and go for the bind. Left hand, right knee. Right hand, left knee. Left hand, right heel. Slide that left hand up the back. Right arm reaches out in front of you. Bend in the elbow and give the left arm a boost. Right arm reaches up, bend at the elbow, and go for the bind. Good. Pausing here. Hopefully we all have the bind. If you don't have the bind, grab for your shirt, your sports bra, whatever's behind you. Take a breath in and a breath out. And we're going to do a breath of fire here. So you're going to keep the bind. A breath of fire is just a sharp exhale out through the belly, through the nose. So it's a pumping of the breath. If anyone is pregnant, you're going to skip this and just do normal breath in and out through your nose. But it looks and sounds like this. So we're just going to do it all together for about 50 breaths. Take a breath in and a breath out. If you can, close your eyes, go in and begin to pump the breath. So it's an out, 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 out. And maybe you've done this breath before, but the addition of the arm variation just gives it something else. So keep pumping the breath, keep focusing on the belly, going in and up, in and up. For another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Deep breath in. Hold the breath full. Take in 3 more little sips of air like you're sipping through a straw. And then exhale, let it all go. Let the arms release. Keep your eyes closed. Palms meet your thighs. Allow yourself to be right here. Allow yourself to feel the shift or feel the not shift. And then open your eyes and we'll take the other side. So this time it's going to be the left arm that's up and the right arm that's down. Grabbing for the fingers. And then noticing here, if you're splaying the ribs out, kind of tuck the ribs in. So there is a little bit of engagement in the core. We're not just letting ourselves fly open. Close your eyes, take a regular breath in and a regular breath out. Inhale. And then begin to pump the breath. Breath of fire once again. Out, 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 out. So continuing to pump the breath, even when it feels a little difficult, even when it feels like you can't do it anymore, just keep going. For another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Deep breath in. hold the breath full. And then like you're sipping through a straw, take in 3 more little sips through your mouth, really filling yourself up. Exhale, let the breath pop the cork out the top of your head. Let your arms come down. Let your hands find your thighs. Maybe rub onto your thighs. Keep the eyes closed. Feel your seat beneath you. Let your heart lift up, but also sit back. Regular breath in and regular breath out. All right, opening up the eyes. We're gonna come all the way down. So you'll come off your seat for a moment. We might come back to that at the end. And come to sit. Come to sit. You're gonna bring the right leg out and the left leg is gonna go in. So one final twist for this class. If you find yourself kind of rolling back onto your sitting bones or rounding your spine, you have a blanket or a towel or a pillow, you can put that underneath you and sit yourself up. The other thing that you can always do is pull the flesh away from your sitting bones. And then the thing that I like to do, especially in these shapes, is to bend the knee, because the bend just automatically gets you more into that joint space, which is where we want to be. Left foot comes to right inner groin, as close to the groin as you can get it. But don't feel like you have to overstretch yourself here. That's not really the point. And then your right elbow is going to come down inside of your right leg. If this is impossible for you, if you can't get the arm down, I think most of us can, but if you can't, you can grab onto a block or a pillow and put the arm there. This is going to be where you stay, starting to open yourself up. I've again brought my left hand to my lower back, just as a reminder to lengthen. So you can stay right there. You can also bring the hand down, maybe grabbing on for the ankle, or just bringing it inside of the leg, pressing the shoulders to the knee to the shoulder, letting that help you open yourself up. You can stay right here if you want to take the extra variation. This is one of my favorite twists in yoga. What you'll do is you will grab for, first you're gonna turn towards, you can lift your arms up and bring your hands around that right leg. Turn towards that leg, so kind of like we were working on earlier, you can bring your chest to your thigh. Just getting a little bit more of a hinge in the hips and a connection belly to thigh. Bring your right hand down. Your left arm will reach up and over, grabbing for your foot. You can stay right here. So there's 2 variations of this. One, the right hand comes to the right ear and you give yourself a little pedestal for your head. Again, press that right knee into your right shoulder so you open yourself up, you start to look up, or you can grab for your left knee with your right hand. Again, your right knee presses into your right shoulder, you start to open yourself up. Breathing in, especially breathing into this left side waist, to your stomach, your spleen, your pancreas, your left kidney. And breathing out. Wherever you are, you're twisting. I actually really like this version with the hand under the ear. I feel like I can close off both ears and just go in. Taking another breath in and another breath out. And then slowly coming up. Nice. And switch sides. So left leg goes long, right foot comes into left inner thigh. Once again, you can pull the flesh away from your sitting bones. So this right foot comes into the inner thigh. It really comes more into the groin. So the more you can get it into the groin and open up that knee, the better. And then bend in this left leg, bend in this left knee. So we can all bring the left forearm down either to the floor. You can bring a block or a pillow underneath. But it is nice to have some contact of arm to leg and leg to arm, because then you can give this leverage to start to twist yourself open. So maybe you come into that variation, just keeping your hand on your lower back, or you can reach it up, really letting yourself lift up. Or if you want to come into the deeper stretch, again, I recommend walking your hands around that left leg, bringing belly to thigh, just really coming up and out of the lower back before you come into the deeper twist. And then right arm reaches up and over, grabbing for your left foot. Left hand snakes underneath and either can grab the right knee, or you can bring the hand underneath you, give yourself a little prop, like you're propped up on the beach or something, or you're propped up talking to your friends on the phone, and you use that left knee to press into your right shoulder to turn yourself more open. So one last time, the point of a twist here is not to squish. So yes, you might feel a little squish in that left side waist, but see if you can lengthen out and then go a little bit deeper into the twist. Breathing into that right side body, so your liver, your right kidney, maybe even just your right hip. And taking another breath in and another breath out. Come all the way back up. And actually, we're going to end in a back bend. We're going to end in a little back bend. So if you do have a block, you can bring the block on the medium height, long ways towards the back of the mat. That's going to go underneath your shoulders. If you don't have a block, you can grab a stack of books. If you don't have your stack of books, if you have a blanket or a towel or something, you can roll this up. Roll it up. You just want to give your shoulders a little bit of elevation. So either your block here, or you can roll up your blanket and put that here. And actually, somebody showed me this trick. If you have a blanket, whether it's a yoga blanket or a regular towel, you can actually make your blanket into more of like a block shape by folding it up. And so this might be actually a better kind of make a square with your blanket versus making a roll. That might be a little bit nicer. So that's going to go right at your shoulder blade. You call it your bra line or your bro line. And then you'll just come to lay back on it. Arms by your side, elbows can be slightly bent. One thing to note, if you are working with a block, you don't want it too low. It shouldn't be on your kidneys. It shouldn't be on your waistband. It should really be on the shoulders, because it's lifting your lungs up and bringing your lungs forward. This may be a big opening for your head and your neck if you're using the block. So if you need to, you can bring it down, but it is nice on that that medium version. And then close your eyes and just allow yourself to be right here. Feeling the elevation of your lungs. Maybe you feel a beating of your heart. Together, let's take a full breath in. Open up the mouth, let it go. And we're going to end class today with a traditional 4-7-8 breath. So this breath is great for calming the nervous system. It's something that you don't have to do inside of a yoga class. You can do it when you wake up in the morning, before you go to bed. I've been hearing a lot of people have insomnia. This can be one way to help support your nervous system coming down. So it's going to be an inhale for a count of 4, so a shorter inhale, a hold for a count of 7, and then an exhale for a count of 8. And we're going to do 4 rounds. So inhale for 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8, and I will count you through it. Take a regular breath in and a regular breath out. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more round. In, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Regular breath in, really fill up the lungs. Regular breath out. Begin to bring small movement back into your body. Wiggle your fingers, your toes. Maybe rock a little side to side. In your own time, you'll gently come up to a comfortable seat. You can sit cross-legged or up on your heels in Virasana. Keep the eyes closed for just another moment. And take a big breath in, reach your arms up. Exhale, let's bring the hands to the heart, and let's all bring one hand on top of the heart, the second hand on top of that. Take a final breath into your lungs, really fill up. Open your mouth, let it go. And open your eyes. Thank you all so much for coming, for being here. I'm going to stay on for another minute. Well, I'll stay on for a few minutes. Let me just stop the recording.